And he even documented some of them. And so we have a template to pursue to beat that record that you were able to set. And I must also commend you that under your leadership, that was the time that the Senate enjoyed very cordial relationship with the presidency, to a point where even in terms of constituency projects, they were funded 100%. And that showed the fact that you really established a good relationship. Yes, when you hear about stories of rubber stamp, that should not worry you, because people do not understand that what we give to senators here, we give them the order book. We give them the rules of the Senate after they are sworn in. We don't, and then the Nigerian Constitution. We don't give them boxing gloves. So nobody's expected to come here and fight with the executive arm of government. We are expected to come here, scrutinize, oversight, and then bring out, distill, like we did with the tax reforms, and bring out provisions that will best suit Nigeria. And I think that's what you were doing. So discard all those stories of rubber stamp. And I commend you, particularly restoring the idea of ensuring that Nigerian budget was passed on time. If you notice, when we were together in the 8th Senate, we used to keep budget up to July. So without passing the budget by July, because there was so much tension and conflict with the leadership of the National Assembly. But when you came in, all that became a thing of the past. We started having budget on time, and by January, the budget will kick off, so it could end in December. So we are keeping to that, and this 10th Senate has been alive to that responsibility so far, and I believe we will keep going for the benefit of Nigerian people. Thank you for your tribute. May his soul rest in peace. Let me add a voice before I briefly step aside. Deputy Senate President, you were there in the chambers when the President had a valedictory session for late President Muhammadu Buhari. What we are doing today, Nigerians may not understand. We started by adjourning the National Assembly for 1 week, particularly the Senate for a week, in his honor. We said that he has served Nigeria, he woke up Nigeria. Nigeria was part of him. He grew up serving Nigeria from his youthful days to his adult years. And so on his demise, we immediately closed the activities of the plenary and the National Assembly for 1 week in order to honor him. We even had to postpone the constitutional sitting of the Northwest Zone to enable all our colleagues in the Northwest Zone to participate in the various ceremonies. And then today, we felt that we should use today again to commend the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Tinubu, GCFR, for the very wonderful tone setting of how to honor a leader who has served the country well. And the whole country is very proud of what this administration has done in the way and manner President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was honored and was buried. And you can see, even from President Buhari's President Buhari was honored and buried. And distinguished Senator Nengi, you also observed that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will not be forgotten for what he did during the burial ceremonies of President Muhammadu Buhari. So in the Senate, we are also determined to ensure that in our books, the record says that we also had this valedictory, despite all said and done, to record some of the good deeds that a man did while he was alive. I want to mention one that I forgot. Senator Oshomole, I think maybe he has stepped up briefly. Yes, there was something that Senator Oshomole said. That aspect of him we all talk about integrity, but there was an aspect of President Buhari that Nigerians did not know, and that was the aspect of his compassion. I was in his office one day, and he wanted to assign a minister to another ministry. So he showed me the copy of the letter, and then he now said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I wanted this letter to go out tomorrow, but tomorrow is Friday. I don't know whether he will like it. I don't want to disappoint his family. I don't want them to be sad. Let them have a beautiful weekend. I would rather give this letter on Tuesday." So he withdrew the letter from my hand. When I stepped out of the place, I started thinking, this is a man who is thinking of the children of the minister, and the minister, the wife, and the feelings. Why would, before a man can consider the happiness of a family, just a letter, it wasn't a letter of sack, it was just a letter of reposting. But Muhammadu Buhari was that kind of person who thought of the happiness of that family. And when he was a head of state, the world saw him as very hard with war against the discipline. But there was a woman that was arrested in Lagos as CMS. And that woman that was arrested as CMS was found selling things at an unauthorized place. So members of Y were against indiscipline, arrested the woman. The woman had a toddler. So she was weeping and weeping and weeping, and they took her and said they wanted to go, and at that time it was direct imprisonment with small tribunals here and there. Somehow, one of the aides of the late President Muhammadu Buhari mentioned to him what had happened. He sent for that woman, said they should go and bring the woman with a toddler. He asked the woman, "Why were you selling there?" The woman said she was a widow, talked and talked. And he said, "Okay, how many children do you have?" The woman said 3. He said, "Where are they?" He said, "They are at home in Mushi." He said, "No." He ordered immediately that the children should be registered in school, paid school fees for those children, and registered the woman in a cooperative, and provided funds for the woman to sell in a proper market. And so the woman did not go to prison for disobeying the law. And so stories like that abound in the country, but they are untold. Because like you know, when it comes to leaders and leadership, it is the bad story that sells. The good stories are never told. When I made my funeral oration, I did not have time to elaborate on all these things. But that was not a man of integrity alone, he was also a man of great compassion. And I'm surprised that Senator Adams Oshimole was able to pick that aspect of his compassionate life today by considering others whilst taking decisions that affected individuals. May his soul rest in peace. Senator Dixon.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, and my dear